AI is transforming accounting, and depending on who you ask, that's either really exciting or, quite frankly, really terrifying. Some people are convinced that robots will replace accountants, while others believe, AI will just make our jobs a bit easier. But the truth is, it's not really that simple. AI is already here in accounting, and it's really changing the way that we work, whether we like it or not. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly what AI means for the future of accounting. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Ariel, and I'm a CPA with over 5 years of experience in various accounting roles. I started my career as an external auditor in public accounting, and I currently work as an accounting manager for one of the Fortune 500 companies. Over the last several years, I've really been able to see kind of firsthand how technology has really reshaped the profession, both in public accounting, but also in industry as well. So today, I want to break this down in a way that cuts kind of through some of the noise, and we're going to use, to do this, a SWOT analysis. So SWOT is an acronym. It stands for strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. It's a framework and a common tool in business strategy because it helps us look at a situation from every angle. So not just the positives or the negatives. And so here's how this works. You have strengths and weaknesses are going to be your internal factors. So in this context, they're going to describe like what AI itself does well and where it also falls short. Then you have the opportunities and threats, which are the external factors. These are going to be the changes, trends, and risks happening in the accounting profession and the broader business world as AI really becomes more widely adopted. So, why use a SWOT analysis here? Well, because it gives us a kind of a more of a balanced, structured way to think about AI in accounting. A lot of conversations about AI get polarized, right? Either people are really excited and think it's, changing everything, or they're really worried it's going to take away all of the jobs. So a SWOT analysis kind of cuts through that by giving us a little bit of a framework that covers both sides, the good, the bad, and what it really means for accountants going forward. So let's start with the strengths of AI in accounting, because this is where people tend to get the most excited, really. These strengths are what AI naturally does well. So imagine a typical day of an accountant. You've got stacks of invoices, bank statements to reconcile, journal entries to post, and hundreds of transactions to categorize. It's repetitive, it's time consuming, and let's be honest, it can be also a bit exhausting. Now, imagine if much of that work could be done automatically, without errors and in a fraction of the time. That's what AI is bringing to the table. Take, for example, expense reporting. So instead of manually entering receipts into the system, various programs and tools can scan those receipts exactly and extract the merchant date, the amount, and even categorize it correctly in your accounting software. So suddenly what used to take hours is done in just minutes. This frees you up to focus on analyzing the data instead of just recording it. Or, consider bookkeeping and transaction categorization. AI-powered platforms can learn the patterns of your business over time. So they notice that, for example, that every Amazon purchase goes into office supplies, or that every utility bill comes from a specific vendor. That pattern of recognition reduces mistakes. It increases consistency and really helps smaller teams handle that larger volumes of transactions with a lot more ease. And AI isn't just about clerical work. It's transforming auditing as well. Traditionally, auditors would rely on sampling, so testing a small subset of transactions to form an opinion. But AI can analyze every single transaction, flagging anomalies and trends that might have gone unnoticed. Imagine being able to spot a misposted $10,000 transaction or detect unusual patterns across thousands of invoices in just seconds. It's more accurate, more thorough, and just less stressful. Speed is another huge strength. Month-end close has always been a stressful crunch time process for most. But AI can help. It can reconcile accounts in real time, detect mismatched and surface discrepancies immediately. That means like errors are corrected faster, closes happen much quicker, and accountants have time to do actual analysis instead of just checking the numbers. And let's not forget accuracy too. Human error is inevitable, especially when deadlines loom and hours drag on. And so AI doesn't get tired, right? It doesn't misread a figure or forget a step. With good data inputs, AI delivers consistency that humans just simply can't match here. Here's the best part, all of these strengths, for example, we talked about automation, speed, accuracy, and the ability to handle this massive data. Ultimately, this allows accountants to shift their focus from routine processing to really high value work. That means advising leadership, uncovering business insights, or developing strategies rather than just spending the day buried in spreadsheets. In other words, AI doesn't just replace accountants, it can amplify their impact and transform their roles in a way. Now let's flip the narrative here and talk about the weaknesses baked into AI itself. First, AI is only as good as the data it's given. If the inputs are wrong, like a scanned invoice with missing details or an unusual transaction the system hasn't seen before, like the outputs will be wrong too. Garbage in, garbage out. Secondly, AI systems can be expensive and complex to implement. Larger firms may have the budget, but smaller firms often struggle to justify the cost of advanced software, training, and really ongoing maintenance. Third, AI requires oversight. It can automate routine processes, but it doesn't always understand the context behind it. It doesn't know if a client relationship is sensitive or if a business transaction carries ethical considerations. It just processes data. And then finally, there's the risk of over-reliance. If accountants or businesses blindly trust AI outputs without reviewing them, then errors can slip through the cracks, sometimes with serious financial or compliance consequences. Now, here's the good news. These weaknesses, they don't spell the end for accountants. In fact, they highlight where humans shine. Accountants bring judgment, nuance, and really critical thinking that AI simply can't replicate. Where AI struggles with messy or unusual data, accountants can interpret those contexts and make the right call a lot better sometimes. Whereas AI is expensive or complicated, professionals who really learn how to use and explain these tools will be in high demand. And when it comes to oversight, accountants provide the ethical lens, really, the business perspective and decision making that machines just don't quite have. And so yes, AI has weaknesses, but those weaknesses can actually be opportunities for accountants to really step up, to prove their value, and to make sure that they don't get replaced, but rather enhanced by the technology available to them. Now, let's take a little look outward to the opportunities AI creates for the profession. One of the biggest is personal career growth, actually. As AI takes over repetitive work, accountants have the chance to move into higher value roles like advisory services, data analytics, or more system implementation. Firms are already hiring specialists who can really combine accounting knowledge with different technology expertise. There's also the opportunity to provide more strategic value. Instead of spending days, and I mean days, reconciling or closing the books, accountants can use AI-generated insights to help leadership make faster, smarter business decisions. That really alleviates the profession from, some of the number crunching to more strategic advisors. And early adopters gain a competitive advantage too. Firms and professionals who embrace AI now will be better positioned in the market, offering faster, more accurate, and really just more insightful services than those who resist. So while AI may be changing the work accountants do, it also kind of expands the profession's ability to grow in a different way, to specialize and add value in ways that weren't really possible before. And then finally, the threats. So the external risks AI brings to the profession. One big concern is job displacement, right? Entry-level tasks like bookkeeping and basic reconciliations are increasingly automated, which means, fewer traditional starting roles for new accountants. There's also the global competition factor. Think offshoring. Offshoring already reduced demand for some accounting services, and AI accelerates this by allowing companies to kind of combine some of this automation with smaller, cheaper teams overseas. Another threat is the skill gap. Professionals who don't adapt to using AI tools really risk being left behind, while those who invest in tech skills and adaptability will move ahead. The divide between the two groups will only grow. So finally, there's also the risk of blind trust. Like companies that lean too heavily on AI without proper oversight could face compliance issues, audit failures, or even ethical scandals. Really, the takeaway, these threats are real, but they're not inevitable. They really serve as a warning that accountants need to keep learning, adapt quickly, and really kind of stay engaged with the profession's evolution. And so those who do well, if they can do so, they'll not only survive the age of AI, but they'll hopefully thrive in it. So when you put this all together, AI is a powerful tool with clear strengths and weaknesses, and it brings kind of both the opportunities and threats to the accounting profession. The key isn't to fear it, rather to understand it. Accountants who really combine their technical skills with adaptability, judgment, and strategy will always be in demand. AI can process data, but humans provide meaning to that data. And that's what will keep the profession alive in some capacity. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Do you see AI as more of an opportunity or more as a threat for accountants? Are you excited about this, nervous about it, or maybe a little bit of both? Drop your perspective in the comments, because I think the more that we share different experiences, the really clear picture that we'll have where to see where this profession is really heading. So have a great day.